Hi, everybody. This is Cat Day with Sneaky Pete Mafia, and we are here with Allen Hopkins, the creator of the Super Billiards Expo and billiard player extraordinaire. Um, anyhow, and we have Garret Troop, and Garrett, take it away.
Morning, Alan. How are you doing this morning?
I'm fine, thank you. Good morning to you too.
Yeah. So, for those of you who are not aware of who you are and what you do, um, I know that you're a professional pool player back in the day, and had a long list of entitlements and accomplishments so far. What do you think is your greatest pool playing accomplishment to start with?
Well, my first greatest accomplishment is when I won the World Straight Pool Championship in Asbury Park, New Jersey in 1977. And following that, I won the U.S. Open 9-ball champion in the same year. So those two tournaments really gave me a big boost as far as playing pool. I knew I was
Oh, of
capable of
course.
winning any tournament at the time. So I just love playing pool. Been playing a long time since I was 7 years old. And first time I picked up a cue on a pool table, I ran 10 balls. I thought it was kind of
Wow.
easy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Well,
How do you transition from that into the Super Billiards Expo?
Well, I played pool all my life. I've actually been on the road playing pool and went around, played everybody I could find, and played in tournaments. And finally realized it was really not a very wealthy living to do. I mean, it's hard to make a lot of money playing pool.
It
So
is.
yeah, so I've always been in business. I've had two pool rooms, and I've owned the building in both of them. And then I decided to. I went to a trade show and seen the billiards around and stuff. And I said, "Wow!" I was at the time I was the president of the Players Association. We had a pool association at the time for the professional players, and I was the president. And I decided, since I had just sold my business, I said, I'm going to start a trade show, and it's going to be for us. It's going to be for the Players Association, so we can make money and get
Right.
together and start a tour and stuff and television and all that. So I put up the money, and I made a deal with the Pro Billiards Tour that they would receive half the profit from the show. Well, the first year I took kind of a big loss, 28,000, and I went to the tour, and I said, well, I'm still going to keep doing it. I think we can make this big, and I says, I just want to get my money back. So the following year, I moved it to Valley Forge. And the first year I did it was in the Meadowlands in New Jersey. And then I decided to move it because it was too expensive over there. It's very close to New York City and everything's super expensive. So I moved it to Valley Forge. And from there, I was very happy. I started making money. I got my money back, and the tour started making profits with me. And we moved on. And that's how
How long have you been doing this, Alan?
I've been doing it 30 years.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
1992, I started. 1992, I started it.
Okay. Okay. So it's been going for a while now. Now, what are you happy with the location now in Pennsylvania?
Yes, yes, I'm very happy with it. It's a good location. I'm very happy being at the Oaks Convention Center. My son Alan is a huge help in doing the show. He takes care of all the computer stuff, everything that's going on there. And then I
Yeah.
help to set the floor up and set the rules for all the tournaments and
Well,
help
that's
get
a
the
tap league that goes in there. Yeah.
yeah, yes, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, we bring in over 250 tables.
Wow. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I've been there. I've been there a couple times. I had a booth there in 2014,
Oh,
and looking to come again here pretty soon. It's
great.
definitely the biggest mecca for pool that there is.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very happy with it. We call it pool heaven. It's everything under one roof. You've got the exhibitors,
Oh,
you have the pro players, you have the kids, you have women, you have amateurs, you have leagues, and it's just a lot of fun, And you got mini tournaments all night long going on also.
oh yeah. 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 Yeah.
And
Yeah. It
we're very
definitely doesn't sleep, doesn't rest.
no, we're very lucky. We've got Diamond as a sponsor, Simonis, very big supporters, Tiger, Predator, Run Out Sportswear. We're very lucky to have some sponsorship to help us with the event also.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's incredible.
Thank-
So for the exhibitors that you have in the trade show area, have you noticed an incline or decline over the years, or where are you at now, coming back into this for the first time, being post-COVID, not having it?
Well, it's been 3 years. Last one we did was 2019, and it's
Yeah.
been a long stretch. But to give you some really good news is that we've got more exhibitors than we've had ever right now,
Wow.
and all our events are filled with waiting lists. Matter of fact, I had to create a second event for the super seniors, which is 65 and older, because it filled up and there was over 100 on the waiting list to get in.
Wow.
So I started the second one, which is going to be in the beginning of the week, and that's almost already filled already also.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now,
so-
when you, is there room for growth at all?
Oh yeah, I can. Yeah, as long as I can get the tables. I mean, I have. Don't forget, I have the tap leagues there, and they bring in 120 tables and about 7,000 to 8,000 players. And this year, I'm doing their nationals in the beginning of the expo, and then the second half of the expo on Thursday, I'm doing their rally in the valley. So I've got two large different groups of players coming in during the week.
Wow. Okay. So my question to you is, during a league, you have to go through the qualifiers and go to nationals and get your different qualifications to get to go to this, which is the TAP main event, right? What happens through COVID, if your skill level increases, or if you are not able to compete with your original team, or your team breaks up or something like that? How does that work for having a break for 3 years and coming back into it?
Well, that's a very interesting question because it has come up with my tournaments also, because a lot of players signed up for the seniors and now they're 65. So now they want to play in the super seniors instead. But
Right.
as far as the leagues, I'm not really I'm not sure how they handle that, but I would believe that they probably will they'll probably get in with their rating, and if they've improved, they'll probably change them during the tournament. I think that's what
Back
leagues
to
do.
their original rating,
Yeah.
original rating. Yeah. Well, okay.
Yes, I would think so. I mean, I've had pros come to me and say, "Well, I haven't played in 2 years." Well, I said, "Well, I don't think many people have played in 2 years." I said, "But I can't let you in an amateur event. You're a pro. You
Yeah.
just can play for 2 years, you know." So, I mean, it's like the other day, Buddy Hall asked me, he said, "Can I play in the seniors event?" And I said, "Well, buddy," I said, "they're amateur tournaments. I said, they're not pro tournaments." He goes, "Oh,"
Yeah.
I goes, "Oh, okay, never mind." He goes, "All right," because he's going to be there. I haven't
Right.
seen him in a while. He's going to be there. So that's interesting.
Wow. Yeah.
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 Mhm.
Yeah. That's interesting to see how that's going to unfold, simply because of the fact that a lot of stuff has happened over the last 3 years. You think that pool is having a comeback now, with vengeance, we'll call it, because of the fact that there's been an incredible lull over the last 3 years?
Oh, I'll tell you the truth, Garrett. Pool could be very, very big, like golf. Okay, if they would just
Yeah.
get their act together. Okay.
Yeah.
I believe there has to be a formula where people who hold pool tournaments can make money. Otherwise, why are you holding a pool tournament if you can't make some money off of it also? And
Right.
our big disadvantage is that we can't get a lot of people together to watch like a match or something. We have to put it on
Right.
television. On
Yeah.
TV, it's a home run on television because everybody can watch it then. It's a very
Right.
simple game to watch on TV. And I think that's a big issue we have because, in golf, they can bring in a couple 100,000 people on a golf course to watch the golf tournament.
Mhm.
On the
and
course itself. Yeah.
Yeah, on the course itself. And then like baseball, football, tennis, I mean, they all got the capability of bringing a lot of people in. And we don't have that. We have to have like cathedral seating, and probably the most people we can get into an arena, maybe 1,000, which really looks crowded, and to see the match well.
Right. That's incredible to have an idea of it being back on TV. Because back in the heyday, ESPN was where it was at. How do you believe that things have changed or progressed or degressed since then with the advent of the modern day internet?
Well, that's a good question. When you start talking about the modern day internet, we can start streaming pool and stuff and putting it on there,
Yeah.
and people can watch it. But my idea was, and I was the first one to get, when I was with the pro tour, I got pool on TV live. Okay. And that was awesome because now people all around the country, all around the world, actually, if there are pools on TV live, you can make a line on it. You can put a line on the game because the players don't know who's betting which way. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
this is what makes sports huge. This is why snooker in England is huge. And this is why football in this country is huge. And, you know, if we put a line on pool, it's shady or something. But if football puts a line on, it's okay. It's good, you know.
Right.
I mean, I think this is really, you know, and pool players aren't bad people. I mean, you know, they're athletes in a way. I mean, if you can't stretch and if you don't have any coordination and if your eyesight is poor, you're not going to play good pool. It's going to be
Right.
very hard to play good pool. And coordination, eye-hand coordination is so huge with pool, but it's the way we put it. It's the way we bring it to the public. We bring everything in pool taped already. Okay. So
Right.
really, I mean, they even know who already won. And our first live event, I think it was Buddy Hall, and it might have been Buddy Hall and Varner or Strickland. I'm not sure because I was flying back home to watch it on TV home live. And I went to a pool room and they were betting on the match because it was live. They were all betting on the match. They put a line out. I think Buddy was a favorite in 1 or 2 games, and it was awesome because nothing can go on now. The players don't know what's going on. They're in the match playing and they're playing live. And I think pool should be on television live, just like football is, basketball, tennis, all sporting events are on
Right.
live, and we're
Right.
not. And we're not.
Right.
So
Okay.
that kind of hurts us. And as far as the internet, you're going in a field that I don't know a whole bunch about. Heck, I got.
Well, let me
part-time-
redirect that question. So what I would like to say is streamers have the ability to stream things live
Yes.
and have a great ability to do that. And there's a lot of streamers out there. And a lot of them are really good at what they do. And some of them are just coming up. Do you believe that the streamers have replaced live TV at the capacity that it could have been?
Well, it could be at a lot better capacity. Let's put it that way. But yes, I think they're doing a great job. Upstate Al does my streaming for the Players Championship, and he's been doing it, and that's on live, and it gets good response. And yes, I think it's awesome that people can watch it at home live and see that, and that's the replacement right now. But until you get on one of the major networks, or ESPN or NBC Sports, CBS, whatever, until you start getting out there, that's one of the issues we have. We're not recognized as a sport. We're recognized as like a pastime or an amusement or like a game of checkers or something. You know what I mean? And no, we're athletic people, believe it or not. I mean, we are not. We should be considered a sport, and we're not, and that's a big problem we have.
Right.
Yes, that's a big
Right.
problem.
Wow. Okay.
Let me ask you this. When you were working with ESPN back in the day, were they covering the billiards industry?
Yes, and I put together a proposal for them to do 8 events, tournaments. I was going to put on 8 tournaments for them. And the fellow I was working with, his name was Doug White. And he come to me and he pulled me aside in private. And he said, you know what ESPN stands for, right? And I said, what? He says, Entertaining Sports Network. And I said, wow. I said, well, this will be a tour. He said, well, we're only interested in entertaining stuff. They loved, you know what their favorite show in pool was? Trick shots.
Oh,
that was their
Dr.
favorite
Q
thing.
and
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
What a slap that was. I said, oh my God. I said, really? I said, well, until we get a tour on TV and a season on TV would be awesome. Like, golf has a season, and basketball and baseball. If we could get a season where we're on TV for a certain 3 months, I think we'd start getting a lot of attendance, people watching pool, and it would get more recognition. And stop changing the rules, guys, out there.
Yeah.
right.
I mean, every time I go to a tournament, I never know how they're playing. I mean, I went to a tournament in Norfolk and I made the 9 on the break, and the guy, my opponent, says, you don't win. I said, what do you mean I don't win? He said, well, you didn't hit the balls hard enough. I said, well, I hit them as hard as I could. Just because I didn't get 3 down table doesn't mean anything. I mean, the balls don't have to go down table. And that's the rule. So I said, wow. I said,
Well, okay. So you believe in standardized rules. You believe that should be the BCA format?
who's the BCA?
Well,
No, I'm only kidding. I'm kidding. Listen, I think the rules should be made by the pro players. The pros are the ones that are playing it. Okay, it's nice to have business people in the background taking money from us, but start putting something together for pool where pool goes forward. Listen, I know they've been around a long time, and I have nothing bad to say about them. I just, please start doing something different, because pool ain't going anywhere. It's still not on TV. Okay, it's still not in the Olympics like they said they were gonna. All they keep doing is making rules and laws for the players. You can't go here, you can't do this, you can't do that. I mean, leave the game alone. The people know 9-ball the way it is. Okay, the lowest number ball on the table, you have to hit it first. If you don't hit it, it's ball in hand. If you make the 9 with a good hit, you win. And leave the game alone. The few changes that we did make were actually good changes, like rotate the break. I made that rule on TV for the simple fact, one television program, Strickland was running 6 racks. Didn't even know who he was playing. He didn't see the opponent.
Oh,
So
man.
it's like, yeah. So I said, you can't do this. I said, what if he runs the set out? They don't even know who he played. So I said, you got to play rotate the break so you know who each player. I mean, can you imagine basketball winners out? Michael Jordan might still be playing. Those guys. I mean, really, you got to give the ball. You got to let the opponents. Football winners out. Can you imagine the game of football where if you score a touchdown, you get the ball back and you keep going? New England might still be playing with Brady. I mean, so it's like. You got to give people the opportunity to get to the table. And I told Barry Hearns that when I went to England. I went over to England to qualify for a world championship, and Barry pulled me aside. He says, "So if you have anything to say about this tournament?" Because I don't talk about tournaments when I'm at them. I leave it alone. I come home and they tried to run a tournament. They do the best they can. I said, "Well, the only thing wrong with this right now to qualify," I said, "I'm coming all the way over from the United States, and I'm not guaranteed to get a chance to the table." I said, "So what does that tell you?" I said, I have to have a chance to get to the table, so they changed everything to rotate break. And that makes sense now, but you could actually go to tournaments and never shoot. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. You put some money to play. So, but just beside those little changes, like, even the change in the break, I mean, come on, break behind the line, wherever you want. Don't tell me how hard to hit them. As long as I hit the 1 ball first and make a legal break. I mean, they stopped Corey Deuel from doing his break. And here's a professional player that might be a genius with the rack, and looking at and knowing how to hit it. I mean, he's created something that's unbelievable, really. And I told Shane Van Boeing and Dennis Arcola, they cried to me when I did my $1 million 9-ball because they came in second and third, and Corey broke and ran out and won the tournament more than anyone in the tournament. And it was rotate break, and he used his break. And they come to me and they said, we should make him break him hard. And I looked at them. I said, what? I says, well, let me ask you two guys a question. I says, because we're alone, we're by ourselves in the office. And I said, what are you guys trying to do on the break? And they didn't know what to say to me. And I said, really? I said, think about this. Aren't you trying to make a ball and run out? And they go, yeah. I said, well, Corey did that better than both of you. Why don't you learn his break?
Yeah.
I mean, really. And then Shane goes to me, he goes, well, we learned to break him hard, so he should have to break him hard too. And I said to Shane, I said, if you think Corey can't hit the balls hard, you're in for a big surprise. He can hit the balls hard if you want. He's got a good break hard. I've seen him break them hard also. But Corey experiments around a lot. And
he plays on a different level than a lot of other players.
Yes, he does. And he's a smart player. And my hat is off to him. He's a very smart player. And when I've seen somebody do something well, like when I first seen the Filipinos play, like Bustamante, Ephraim, Jose Perica, and I was sitting with Mizrak, and Mizrak goes, look how lucky these guys are. And I looked at Steve. I said, Steve, they aren't lucky. I said, they're doing that on purpose. Did you notice how hard they're kicking? They'll kick soft one time. They'll kick hard one time. Did you notice the way they're kicking at the ball? They're leaving the balls far apart. I said, this is talent. This isn't luck. I said, when they make one, I'm sorry. I said, when they make one, it might be a little lucky. If the ball's in the middle of the table, of course, they can't bet they're going to make that ball. But they're hitting the ball, and they're aiming for it in a certain spot, and they're trying to do what they're trying to. So I learned how to do it, and I got real good at it too, and it's helped me win a lot of matches and tournaments. And a lot of players look at it and they go, "Oh, look at how lucky these guys are." Well, excuse me, if you know pool, if you watch what's going on, you'll see that they're not really lucky. So.
Right. There's a lot of skill involved. So going back to skill level here, you brought up Efren. A lot of people consider him the GOAT, greatest of all time. Who do you consider the greatest of all time?
Well, he's definitely one of them, without a doubt. I don't think he's the greatest ball populator, but I can tell you one thing: he's one of the smartest players I've ever played. As far as the greatest players, that I've seen play in my time frame, okay, was first of all Mike Siegel. Okay, I think he was one of the best ball pocketers. He was when you went to a tournament, he was the guy you had to try and beat. Okay, Buddy Hall,
Right.
Earl Strickland, of course. Wait a second. Jimmy Rimpey was a great player. I mean, you've got a lot of players that people don't even know about. Cole Dixon was a great player. Mike Corella. These guys were all great players, but they were in the background a lot. They were interested in other things. They liked to match play. Ronnie Allen, another great player. Boy, there's so many of them. Luther Lassiter, Irving Crane.
Right.
I was lucky to see them play. I played with Moscone. Fats was probably one of the greatest entertainers around the pool table.
Minnesota Fats.
Yeah, I mean, he was a great entertainer. Who cared if he could make a ball? It don't matter. He told Moscone, he said, "Don't matter if I can beat you. I'll call China up and get $1 from every Chinaman, and I'll be a billionaire in no time."
Right.
The same jokes over and over, and it still got the same response. Everybody laughed at it, even though you heard it already.
Right.
He was good.
Yeah.
He was good for the game. I didn't care how well he played. He was just good for the game, I thought.
Hey, did you play Willy Moscone?
We played in challenge matches. He really always put himself in good spots. I'm not knocking Willy Moscone. I think he was one of the greatest straight pool players. He was a great exhibition player. I mean, he'd go to do an exhibition. You almost guaranteed, to see him run 100 balls. The only thing I don't like is way he was with certain, like he was playing a kid one time. Not to be negative about this, but the kid was so thrilled. He was running 60 balls, and Willie unscrewed his stick. Didn't even let the kid finish. He goes, "The people come to see me play, not you." And I thought that was a little rude, and that's the only thing. But now Fatty, they were just, it's just, Mizrak was a great player too. I don't know if I said his name or not. Mizrak was one of the greatest players too, as far as straight pool for sure.
So you mentioned straight pool quite a bit here. Do you see, or obviously the transition is going away from straight pool. What do you think that the hot game is right now? It's got to be 9-ball, yeah?
Oh, without a doubt. 9-ball is really a good game, actually, because it's all execution. And I'll tell you a little story right now. My mom and dad used to come watch me play pool. It was mostly straight pool tournaments back in the 60s and 70s. And my mother sit there and watch, and I might run 80, 90, 100 balls, and she doesn't have a clue what I'm doing. Then she came to a 9-ball tournament, and she knew exactly what was going on. She knew that I was trying to get to the next ball because it's the lowest numbered ball on the table. So she could follow the game, and she actually liked 9-ball better. And I think that's one of the reasons why 9-ball is such a popular game. It's not
because it's easy
game.
To follow easy to follow for the spectator.
Yes, as long as they stop changing the rules, okay? Because people go to tournaments now, they don't know what the heck's going on. If they keep the rules the same, let 9-ball just play itself out. So what if you luck a ball? How many golfers hit a tree and it goes on the green near the pin? I mean, these things happen. It's part of the game. The whole thing, you deserve to get lucky. You know why? You're at the table shooting. So you're at the table shooting for a reason. You deserve to get lucky. If you miss a ball and luck it somewhere else, well, say la vie. Just got to take it. That's all. It happens. But yeah, I mean, 9-ball is definitely, I mean, the most popular game in the world probably is 8-ball. The only problem with 8-ball, every time you go to a different bar or a different pool room, it's a different rule. They got all different rules, I mean, I heard a good one the other day. I heard Frankie Hernandez was playing Jimmy Rimpey. They're playing last pocket 8-ball, or this other guy was playing, I'm sorry. And the one fellow was shooting a 10-ball, and the 9 was on the table, and it was closer to the cue ball. And the guy, he was playing a Puerto Rican player from Puerto Rico. And he said, "What are you doing?" And the opponent said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, you can't shoot the 10-ball. And he goes, "Why?" He says, "Because the 9-ball is closer to the cue ball. And supposedly they play over in Puerto Rico. You must shoot the closest ball to the cue ball." And I never heard that before. I've been playing pool.
Yeah, I never heard that before either.
65 years I've been playing pool. Never, ever heard that rule. And but that's last pocket 8-ball though. They play it different all around the world. Actually, I would guess. Yeah.
There's no standardized set of rules, right?
No.
Okay. So why don't you tell me a little bit about you being inducted to the BCA Hall of Fame?
that was a delight. I really enjoyed that, and you know, a lot of people don't know things I've done in pool and stuff. If you come to Jersey and stuff,
Can
you
you
would know.
take and move your camera back just a little bit so we can see your face?
Oh, I'm sorry.
There we
Yeah,
go.
okay.
There you go.
I'm sorry.
There we go.
Yeah, I was walking around, so yeah. But I used to take proposition bets all the time, and in straight
Yeah.
pool, I used to bet that I'd take a break shot and run 75 balls. And to this day, I never heard nobody even try to do that. But I used to win money doing that. And my straight pool was very good. A lot of times I'd be running 200, 300 balls and I'd stop because I'd get a phone call because I was working with the pro tour and stuff. And I just stopped shooting. And, you know, I'd be in my pool room and players there sitting, where you going? I said, well, I got to take care of some business. I go ahead, you can have the table. And they wanted me to continue. I said, no, I don't have time for that. What's the big deal if I do run 300 or 400 balls? It don't matter. All you need to run 150 or whatever the game is. If you need 70 balls, if you can run 70 out when you need to, that's what I consider a great player. And being in the Hall of Fame, I knew I deserved to be in there. I've done things that no other players have even thought about doing as far as proposition. Right. And I've showed them how to do it. Excuse me.
What did the process involve getting inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Process. Well, they interviewed me first.
Okay.
And they wanted to know, they wanted my resume, and they did ask me a few questions. They wanted a ring size because they give you a ring. And then you have to pick someone to talk about you. And I had Mitch Lawrence talking about me, which he's very good. He speaks very well. But they still don't know. They don't know you as well as people know you that have been around you your whole life and have seen what you've, you know, and seen the things you've done and know what you've done. And that'd be people who went on the road with me. You know, I was on the road for 10 years, hustling pool. And tell you the truth, I can go back anywhere I've been. I can go any location I've been to, and I can go back there and not worry about, I didn't do anything to anybody, just beat them. I just beat them playing pool. They got no problem about that.
How did you do playing in the U.S. Open last year?
Not well. I couldn't find my table, and I shot the wrong ball.
Oh no!
Yeah, you know something. I thought the 4 ball was purple, and it was the 5 ball that was purple, or something like that. Yeah, and I looked at, and then I put my glasses on. I had to put my glasses on to play. So I got my glasses on to see where the balls are. Then I took them off, and then I would shoot. And it was kind of tough. And I didn't expect to do really well, tell you the truth. But I wanted to go play because people would like to see me play, you know. And I feel I owe it to the sport to go and play. I've been playing in the U.S. Open for 35, 40 years, and you know, a lot of the players my age, they don't want to go play because they're embarrassed about how they play. And I said, listen, it's nothing to be embarrassed about. I said, nobody can take the titles away you've won. Right. Everything you've won before, nobody can take them away. I said, so if you can't win today, well, that's understandable from people. I said, they'll understand that when they get older, you know. And I've seen Irving Crane, Luther Lasser, and all those guys as they got older play, and Willy Moscone, and I've seen them all as they got older. They're not as consistent, and they're more nervous, and their eyesight's not as well. And it takes a lot to win tournaments. It's not an easy thing to win tournaments. You have to have a good mental attitude. Plus, you have to be sharp, and that's one of the things I think that snooker players do well when they get ready and they get in stroke. Like I had worked with Allison Fisher doing some commentary a couple months ago, and we got to talk a little bit. I went out to dinner together and stuff, and you know, she said, I'm going to start getting in stroke and playing. I said, well, the women will know you're there. That's for sure. Because when she gets in stroke, you know, so if she's going to go get in stroke, she will get in stroke and she will play well. And that's snooker players. Snooker players do that. Pool players, we get in stroke. I don't know what it is, but it's not the same. It's not the same. To me, I think snooker is the toughest game in the world, bar none. I think snooker is the most difficult pool game in the world to play. I don't think 9-ball is that difficult at all. But I will tell you something about 9-ball is that to this day, there's not a player that will set the balls up and break and bet that he breaks them, makes a ball, and runs out. There's not a player that's going to bet on doing that. That's how hard it is to do. Now you take snooker, okay, especially on a pro cut table. a pro cut table, the Diamond Pro cut table, probably the best table in the world right now. But I think that taking the break and betting you break and make a ball and run out. I don't think any player is going to bet on doing that at one rack. Just set the balls on betting. I don't think no one in the world, I don't care who it is, so.
Right.
That's just my opinion, and I know pool pretty well, I think so. It's a tough thing to do, so.
Oh, incredibly so. So your brother Paul wrote a book about you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Let's go to a commercial break first, and then let's talk about Paul and your book.
Okay.
All right. And we're back. Let's hear about your book and Paul.
Okay, my book is called Life of Pool, and my brother, he was born when I was 8 years old, and he actually grew up with me playing pool. He's been playing since he was like 2 years old.
Wow.
And, yes, and I was a foster child. I was taken in when I was 5 years old, and I was adopted when I was like 13 or 14. And me and my brother became very close. And he played pool with me a lot, and he got to actually, we lived our life together. He'd come watch me play pool, and we would play pool together in the house. I had a small table about 3 foot in length. It was 3 foot by maybe 2 foot. And we used to play with little balls like marbles, and and we would play a lot. And, I got the sticks. They had a rubber tip on top and went over the
right.
top of it.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned to play pool on. Before that, I used to play on a checker pool game. And we got to. He knew my whole life, and he wrote about it. He wrote about the things I'd done in life. Playing sports in high school, and I used to lift weights a lot, and I was very athletic in school. I used to go play rugby every week against the college teams. We had a high school team, and we go play college on the weekends, and it was just my life, and he knew my life, and he wanted to write a book about, life and how we lived and what we did in our life and the tournaments I won. And, I was the mass marvel at one time. Probably a lot of people don't know that, but I played the mass marvel in a pool room in Elizabeth, New Jersey, the high Q. And every Sunday, my father would take me to the pool room because I wasn't old enough to drive. I was about 14, 15 years old. And he would take me to the pool room every Sunday night, and I'd go play straight pool at the pool room. That's what the main game was. Everybody was playing straight pool. And it was a really nice room. I had about 28 tables. It was called the High Q Billiard Lounge. Actually voted one of the nicest rooms in the country at one time, and he was a good promoter. Mike Ash was his name. And I learned a lot about pool there. As a matter of fact, that's the first time I had played Mizrak and met Mizrak, and Jack Colavito, who was another great pool player. Ray Martin, another great player. These players were all coming into this place. And then we had players right under that played awesome also. They were like 20, 30 balls under us, but it was a good game. Tom Jennings, who won the U.S. Open, the BCA U.S. Open one year, he was one of those players that was like 20, 30 balls under me and Steve and Colavito and Martin. And P.D. Margot, by the way, too. I was in an area, not to get away from the book at all, but just to tell you one thing really quick. I was in an area where a lot of great pool players were. Between New York, Connecticut, where else? New York, Connecticut, Johnny Ervolino, Gene Nagy, all these players would come into, and Staten Island. All these players would all get together and at tournaments and stuff, and we'd match up and play. And we got so good. So my brother decided to write a book, and he took pictures and showed how I've worked with kids coming up, and how he started the expo, and a story about my life. I was taken in, and my two sisters. I had two sisters, which they're both deceased now. But he wrote about that, and then he showed the game that I played, checker pool. He showed that in the book, and the book is easy reading, so anybody can sit down and read probably in an hour and a half or so. Very easy reading. And
I'm curious. Did you have an arch rival when you were playing in the game?
Um, everybody I played, well, I wanted to be. I didn't pick out nobody special. I wanted to win everybody I played against, and I had a time going through tournaments where I didn't care because I was hustling pool and I didn't care about a tournament. I thought it was silly. I'd rather be gambling. And then I realized that your tournament attitude is very important. How you go to a tournament and the way I started winning tournaments, I started playing the first game of my first match, like it was the finals of the tournament. And that's how I play the whole tournament. And that helped me to win tournaments because by the time I got to the finals,
you were already ready for it.
I was already prepared. In other words, every match I'm playing the same way, and that's what helped me to do well in tournaments and helped me to win a lot of tournaments that I had won. Of course, my favorite game was One Pocket. That's the game I really love the most to play because
you still play One Pocket?
Yes, I do. It's a game that you can play because it's not just it is execution, but it's also what you want to execute. Like you have to think about what to do and what shot you want to shoot, and then you have to execute it. And the problem I got right now is executing it. I know what I want to do, what has to be done, but I come close to doing it. I don't hit it the way I don't do it the way I'd like to, but so what? That's okay.
Right. There's a player right now, Alex Pegulayan, and he's incredible. A lot of the same stuff that he does. But yeah, it's incredible to watch some of the shots that he does. And he's an incredible sportsman about it. So he's very, very, very good about that.
You're talking about a player who's a great player, Alex. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I didn't mention all the great players, it's hard to mention them all. But yeah, of course, Alex Pegulayan is probably one of the best players in the world today, without a doubt. I know how he plays. I've played him a couple times, and he's a very smart player too, and he executes and he stands up. He stands up pretty good too in the match. He stands up when he needs to. He comes through when he has to. So yes, he's high on my list as a great player. And listen, when you start mentioning Filipinos and German players and Chinese players, all these players from these other countries play awesome now. And I don't know why they're playing better than the Americans. I think because American pool is so disorganized and really not nothing for the pros to do. I mean, look at me here. Here I am. I can play pool, but I have nothing to play in. I have nothing really I can go compete in where it's going to be fair for me. It's hard for me to go and compete against the top players. But if I could play players my own speed, like 65 and older, then yeah, I'd be there in a heartbeat. I'd love to go play all the players my age and go play against them. But that's not around because nothing's organized like that. Like golf is. Golf has a seniors tour, and some of these golfers, they play better now. Bernard Langer, he plays much better now over 50 than he did when he was in the PGA Tour.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome.
His game's improved.
Yes, and then a good example of that in pool is Mike Massey. I mean, Mike Massey years ago, he couldn't win a Pro Billiards Tour event. He couldn't win a pro tournament, but he did exhibitions and he did trick shots and stuff. And I'm one of the persons that actually said to him, why you waste your time in the pool tournament? Why don't you just do a trick shot show? You're great at it. I said, you get paid for that. You'll make money at the tournament. And then if you want to play in the tournament, you play in it, and as he went on the years, now I think now he probably plays better pool now than he did 30, 40 years ago. And,
wow.
and I was just talking to him. Yeah, it's incredible. I was just talking to him the other day, and he's telling me how he's still doing good in tournaments and stuff. He's playing in bar table tournaments and stuff. And I think he's like 70 some years old. I don't know exactly how old he is, but
yeah,
he's got country music songs and stuff. A lot of
the he's a songwriter.
Yes, he's a songwriter and singer.
Yeah.
He's good at it. Yeah. So, but there's so many players. A lot of the players. I don't know if you noticed about Alex Pegulayan, but Alex is a good poker player too. He plays Hold'em really well. I don't know if you knew that or not, but he's won some good poker tournaments online. And there's another good player, Nick from New York. He started taking poker up. He was a pool player too. He played in my events a couple of times. Now he's a professional poker player and he's won millions and millions of dollars. So here, take this game now, poker. There's a great example. Okay, poker. Look at the millions they're making already in the World Championship of Poker. 8 million's first prize. I mean, come on, $8 million.
Wow.
We're playing pool tournaments where you might win a couple thousand. You know, that's if
Right.
you're close to the top. So it is a little depressing. I'm not going to go that way, but it is a little depressing. But pool's so much fun to play anyway. It's just fun. You know, I like playing
So
with people.
you mentioned along the way how things were back in the day and where they're at now. How do you see other than standardized rules, what do you see that needs to change in order to get it to where it needs to be on the same level as the PGA or pro poker players and stuff like that?
I mean, that's an excellent question. I wish I had the right answer for you. I can only give you my thoughts on what has to be done. First of all, the rules have to be standardized. Okay, every tournament you go to has to be the same. You can't keep changing the rules. It got the public so confused. Another thing is you have to have a formula for promoters to where they can make money. Because if they can't make money, you're just going to lose all your promoters. They have to be able to make money. One of the most successful sports in the world right now is poker. You know why poker is so successful? Because the casinos make money having poker tournaments. You know, the Bagada alone over here in the poker room, they take in $100,000 a day just in money for running the tournaments, not counting the money they put in that comes from the tournament, but they make that a day. You go to a pool room to have a tournament, and it's hard for the pool room to make any money unless they're selling beer and stuff. And the money they're going to make doing all those, but by the time they add the money into the tournament and stuff, it's tough to make any. You know, yesterday I went to Valley Forge, and I spent $16,000 because I got to get bleachers for the pro arena. That's $16,000 I'm stuck, not counting the money I have to add to the tournaments. So it gets expensive. Where's the money coming from? You know, so I mean, you got to find a formula. And then you'll get tournaments out there. And then you have to have players need an association. Okay. You know,
there's just one just created.
Yeah, I know. I heard that.
Yeah.
I hope they have some businessmen on there that can take it forward and because they need businessmen that can sit down and talk to, you know, a marketing company and sit down and talk to TV, you know, and have people that know how to talk to other people and make things happen. Pool players, they should be playing pool. Play pool. Of course, you'd be on the board, have a vote in certain things, but you know, play pool and let the game alone. If you lose to somebody just because they broke the balls better than you, don't change the break. If you lose to somebody because they kick the ball in more times than you do, don't change the format of kicking it balls. You know, just leave the game alone and play, and try to make the game bigger and more popular. And go around to leagues and stuff at night. You know, go in there and play around with the leagues and stuff. See the players, the amateur players, and go mingle with them. You know, and go do things and charities. You know, have tournaments. Get the local charity and bring some money into the local charity. They promote the event for you. You come into a town and you do something with the charity that's in that town, in a hospital or a children's hospital or whatever, and they're going to promote your event for you. They're going to help you sell tickets and everything, and put it in and get it in the newspaper for you and everything. So I mean, these are some of the things that have to do. But as the player association, it's real important that players get organized because the women seem to be organized, but they have certain rules, or you know, all they need in an association is the media rights. If you have the media rights of a player, let that player go play wherever they want to. But as long as they come to your tour events, okay, you know, when I was with the Players Association, I made a guideline with the pros. I said, listen, you're touring pros. When we have a pro tournament, okay, one of our tour events, I want you guys to at least guarantee 24 out of the top 32 players on our list are going to be in it. Okay, be at the tournament. That's what we have to have, and we can help promoters do tournaments by telling them that. If you do a pro tour event, 24 of our top 32 players will guarantee to be there. That's strong right there. That's very strong because you have the best player tour there, you know, and that gives promoters that can promote the event and say what players are going to be there. So these are just a few of the things that players should do and get together and get organized. And I think that'll help. I think that'll help a lot. You know, years ago when I was involved with the tour, we had 20 tournaments one year, and I went to the players in a meeting.
That's a lot.
Yes, it was a lot. And some of them were pool room events. No, not all of them were in hotels and stuff. You know, we had a lot of them in pool rooms. but the Pumas were adding 10,000 and stuff. So I would go to the player. I went to the players and I said, listen, why not all these tournaments we're doing, let's take 10% of the prize money, whatever it is, and put it away, 10 or 5%. I don't care if it's $500 or $1,000. I wanted to take 5,000. I want to take 5,000 each tournament, start putting in a mutual fund. And we put this away for investments. And if we're together, if we're still an organization after 20 years, we're going to have a nice nest egg. Okay. And then we will be self-sufficient then. Then we can start doing things that we want to do. You know, you can have retirement plans for players. You can have a seniors tour, all these things you can have. And their response to me was, we don't make enough money now. We need all the money in the prize fund. So they're not thinking business wise. You know, they're thinking just play and make the money now. You know, and I did the same thing with the Women's Association. When my ex was in there, when she was the president, I told her, go to your players and see if they'll do this. I said, you guys will have a lot of money, you know, in the future. Mm-hmm. Well, as it is right now, the WPBA is broke. Okay, and of course the men don't even have an association. So what are they doing now? Now they're just hoping people do tournaments for them. They're just hoping it happens. You know. But yet I'll go over to Atlantic City, or I'll go to Vegas, or I'll go to any casino. They're having poker tournaments and they're making money, and they're having them every day, and they're making money because the money comes right out, you know, and not one poker player complains about, well, you're not putting no money in the tournament. We don't have no added money. Well, excuse me. I mean, you know, you guys want to play, play. If you don't want to play, don't play. I'm providing the card tables. I'm providing the dealers. I'm providing the location. So what more would you like from me? I'm giving you an opportunity to play. And it's like when we do a pool tournament, I'm providing the pool tables, the location, the referees, the tournament director, the equipment. And then you're worried about how much is added too.
Yeah, there's definitely things that need to be changed in the industry. So do you how do you see or what do you think that we could learn from snooker coming over here, because you said that they're very organized over there?
Yeah, that's the one thing I think we could learn. I mean, I think also, I don't think you have, I'm not sure on this, but I don't think you get a forfeit time. Like if you're late 15 minutes, you forfeit or something, or you lose a game. I think it should be just like golf. If you're not there for your scheduled time to play, you lost the match. You're out. Simple as that. You lost the match. It's your obligation to be there. Come on, you kids, you guys are grown up, and your match is only 2 hours long. You don't need 4 bathroom breaks. Okay? You don't need to go to the bathroom 4 times in 2 hours. Prepare yourself for that. I mean, really shouldn't be. If you need a bathroom break, maybe 1 during the match, but no, I don't agree with all these smoking breaks and whatever breaks they take. Yeah. I don't believe in that. Okay, I think you should be there playing your match and get it done with. We have a long way to go. I mean, and snooker players are honorable amongst themselves too. They foul a ball, they'll call it on themselves. You know, they do something wrong, they'll call it on themselves and stuff. And they're also a more relaxed atmosphere. You know, over in England, first of all, you can go to the local store and bet on the match. Like if I'm playing Strickland in a match, you can go bet. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. There's money being made there. You're paying a vig to bet. And so bookies are making money, locations are making money, and you can go bet on the match. We can't do that over here. I mean, you get arrested. You know, I mean, it's just like illegal. And why? Why is it illegal? But yet I could go bet $1,000 on New England playing Pittsburgh or something. I mean, we are so reversed around in this country about, especially with pool etiquette. I think that hurts pool a lot. You know, when you tell somebody you're a pool player, you are right away have lowered yourself just by saying
have judgment upon you, right?
You go into court. Try going into court, and the other lawyer finds out you're a pool player. Right away, you just lost your case. You just lost your case. I don't care what it was, you've lost.
Oh no!
Because they will attack that. What do you mean you're a pool player? What do? You go gamble a pool? What do you tell me what you do? What does this mean you're a pool player? And they will downgrade you huge. Over in England, if you're a snooker player, you're like a golfer over here. You know, you like Thomas and stuff over here, Tiger Woods. They look at you with prestige, and people people are honored that you're in their presence. You know?
I think I think that media has a lot to do with that, and the positive representation and also the negative representation of the sport, and that it needs to be equaled out to the point to where you can go and you can find accurate, concise information about a tournament and who's directing it and the whole bit across the board.
Yes, they're very organized over there. I've never been to one of their snooker tournaments, but I've watched a little bit of it and I've heard about them, and they're really doing well over there with pool. And look what they've done now. They started playing 9-ball over there. Matchroom Sports is a big shot in the arm for everybody there. Yeah, because they're doing pool and they're going to do it the right way, and they're going to make their set of rules because they're the ones behind snooker also. And I think that's great if they get involved over here. And by the way, they are involved with the expo now. They are involved with the Players Championship. It's going to be a points event for players around the world. So I'm looking forward to see how that happens. And I'm glad that we're getting together, because actually a lot of the rules that they're doing, I made up for my tournaments. You know, the final 16 single elimination, I made that up for my event. And no redraw. I said you can't have a redraw because that's not right. Just do the tournament the way the draw is. And when you make it to the final 16, 8 on each side, everybody plays everybody a single elimination. And there's different prize money for the people on the loser side than there is on the winner side. Like when you have the final 16, 9 through 16 gets knocked out. Well, the ones that come in 9 through 12 are the ones on the winner side. The ones that come in 13 through 16 are the ones on the loser side, and they get less money, even though they've only had the guns on the winner side only have one loss in the tournament, but they're out. But that's the format. That's the format we have. You know, how many sports you get 2 chances at a match? You know, you get 1 chance, and that's the way it should be, especially for the public. It makes it nice and easy for the public to know what's going on there. Single elimination. This player loses, he's out. Real easy to not recognize. You know, so and snooker plays knockout. Snooker plays 1 match knockout. That's how they play. They seem to be doing well with it.
Do you see Matchroom being the evolving trend in pool in the United States?
Excuse me?
Do you see Matchroom being the evolving trend where they're going to start taking over?
I see them being a big asset to everything going on. I don't know so much about taking over. I think they'll be a big part of what's going on. I hope they take control of certain things. Yeah. But if the players get organized, the players will be the ones that control. The players are the ones that control things. When they
just don't realize how much power they have.
Exactly, they've got all the power. You're not going to do a pool tournament without the top players,
right?
Okay?
Yeah.
So if they get organized and stuff, they'll be a big asset. Working with Matchroom, I think that'll be huge. If the players get together with a company like that, I think that's exactly what they need. And let them set up the certain things that they set up, you know, television and all that. And the players, you just get out there and play. You know, if something comes up about a rule or something, if Matchroom wants to change it, we'll talk about it. See, you know, say the goods and the bad points of it. You know, like this 9-ball on the break, the players change it where it don't count. You know, I mean, come on, that's a big highlight when a guy makes a 9 on the break. That's a huge highlight when the 9-ball goes on the break. And if anybody thinks they can rack their own balls and make the 9 on the break, they can trap me, okay? Because I'll bet they can, right? So, you know, it's crazy. I just sit back and watch, and I have to smile about things. I laugh about it. But there's nothing you can do about it. But yeah, Matchroom was definitely, if I was a young player again, you know, when I was involved, I wanted to support the Camel Tour, RJ Reynolds. I was gun-ho in their corner 100%. I told the players, let's get behind these people and do whatever they want. Well, I had to resign because of other reasons, which I don't want to get into. But as soon as I resigned, they went the other way and they sued RJ Reynolds. Well, that wasn't that wasn't smart at all. I mean, why are we suing them? Why are we working with them? They're the only ones that really started putting pool at tournaments the right way. I mean, when you went to one of their tournaments, there was big posters along the way as you're walking into the tournament of all the top players in the Camel event, 1 through 16 players or whatever they had, and then you got points. And then at the end of the year, you had the number 1 player on the Camel Tour. You got a bonus, and the top, I think the top 8 players or 10, whatever, got bonus checks at the end. So I mean, it was sweet. It was very nice. It was nice what they did. And they were good for the game. I think Matchroom is going down that same road. I think Matchroom
Good.
is huge, and I think they're going to do great things for pool. I think they'll do wonderful things for pool, and the pool players are a little fortunate right now. And I'm actually, when I heard they got an association going, hey, I'm in their corner. You know, if they want any, you know, if they want any help from me, you know, I'll
Right.
help them out.
Okay.
I've
Well,
lived
on
it.
that on that note, Alan, why don't we wrap this up? And we'd love to have you again. I'd love to see you after the Super Billiards Expo and see how you fare after that, because these events are grueling.
I can hardly talk after the Open. You better give it a 2 days after that, because it's a long week.
Right.
Right.
I've never done it a week long. This is the first year it's going to be a week long. So, you know, 4 days was rough as it was, but
And
this
it's
is
the
a week.
18th
Yeah.
through the 24th.
Yes,
Yeah.
April 18th to the 24th. And we're going to have a WPBA women's event. And I don't know the name of the men's association, but we're having a pro men's tournament too. It'll both of them be players championships. Beside all the amateur events I'm having, and beside the tap leagues coming in. And then about 170 exhibitors from all over the world.
Oh, wow. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah.
All righty.
Well, thank you for being on the show. We really do appreciate it. We'll get it
Yeah.
published here shortly.
It was nice talking to you, and good luck to everything you do. See you
All
soon.
right.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Have a
you.
good one.
Bye.
Okay.